bigger advantage within, trade flexibilities. So I think that should be one of our agenda items. So how do we maximize that?
Okay, since the mic is passing through my hands, I might as well do one or two ways. Thank you.
We learn, right?
Yeah. I think I've learned a lot from the speakers, and the contribution from the floor was quite informative, from civil society, Abina, and also from Moses, who didn't mince his words. And I don't want to comment or respond to that, otherwise I appear to be defensive. But we've heard what he said, and we appreciate that contribution. And Geoff Banda is also a young brother of mine, and he has engaged me on those topics as well. So it's something that I'm quite happy to hear from you. Just on FAPMA, it is also important to note that FAPMA, as I said, is a registered institution. It is a legal entity which exists independent of its, it's a legal entity which can sue and which can be sued. And we've got a bank account in South Africa, and we have our accounts audited, or it used to be audited when we had funds in that account. But otherwise, it's an established entity which exists beyond the life of its board members. So it's important to take note of that. And the mandate and the responsibilities of FAPMA are clearly spelled out in its constitution. It was inaugurated or launched in January, I think, 25, 2013 in Addis Ababa. We chose the city of Addis Ababa for the launching of FAPMA because of the representative capacity as a continental city for the AUC and the city of where the AUC sits, so that we can demonstrate the continental representativeness of FAPMA. So FAPMA is for everyone, and it is for you to be able to engage with it, and we're there for you. And it's important that we represent effectively our constituency, and we are in touch with our constituents. And that's very important. We engage Global Fund, institutions that impact on the African farmer at global and continental level. So we do engage Global Fund, we engage UNICEF, we engage WHO, and we also engage and work very closely with NEPAD, AUDA, in all their programs. And we basically, in most cases, have got an open door approach with the Secretariat of the AUC, and they do sound us out on matters that affect the private sector or the pharmaceutical industry in Africa. And our mandate when we were formed was to operationalize the Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Plan of Africa, which had then been adopted by the heads of states as the blueprint to ensure that we reduce the over-dependence of Africa on imported medicines and ensure the local production of pharmaceutical products. Then it was less than 20%, and now it should be, and the mandate was to ensure that we reduce the dependence to almost ensure that all the essential medicines in Africa are produced locally. So that's what we are running with, and so I think I had to mention that. Thank you.
I had asked for a little minute, and earlier on when I was saying lessons from nature, in terms of what happens after here, what does SACMA do? I just zoomed in on the issue of getting members in a physical space together, because the Constitution is there and it's good. I don't think it should be revised in the next decades or so, but the issue of the activities that the members need in order to get their businesses viable, those issues, they need to be addressed in terms of what are your challenges, why are you not progressing? Because for me, who needs to receive the money, if you are not paying your subscriptions, I translate it that you are having challenges in making profit, but in those, what are your challenges? What I see coming out of here is to mobilize the issue of what are the member challenges in terms of getting their businesses successful so that they can meet the objectives that they have. And when we can get together, then we address those things by bringing in experts like, I was prompted to ask for a minute from the question of TRIPS. The issue of TRIPS was one clever device by somebody somewhere to make it look like what they call it, third world countries have got options of making industry. But when you look at the details of how TRIPS works, the economies of scale do not make it functional, but it makes like a social event that happened and a third world country was able to produce. And then the government to have to pay high exorbitant prices because these products were manufactured for a very small market does not seem to make business sense, but these are the issues that we need to understand when we get together. This question is very, very pertinent to say, why is anyone not taking advantage of TRIPS? Because when you're in industry and you study TRIPS, it's not attractive where I sit. I would like somebody to show me where the business sense is with TRIPS. And that's why, for the SACMA members, we need to be in the same room to understand these little things in detail so that when you engage into any activity in your business, it makes business sense. And then you can pay your subscriptions. And then your society will be as vibrant as it was meant to be. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the panelists for being kind and for this engaging conversation. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for putting Dr. Higeni once again under the lens. Are there any last parting shots in terms of way forward you think that we have missed that you could expound on? Our panelists are free to move back to you. Thank you so much.
I think the panelists have done a very good job, but I think the advisory role of the association is very important because, you know, knowledge is power. Where are we going to do, who is doing the research, who is doing the dissemination of what is going to guide the upcoming manufacturers, because there are very many people who are interested. So I think we need to emphasize on the advisory role of the associations. That is number one, very important. But the second thing I thought, could there be a kind of blueprint of sorts if somebody wanted to set up a pharmaceutical, a vaccine manufacturing entity, some blueprint. We have very many, you know, there's R&D, you know, there's no technology transfer, and then there is the engagement of bankers and so on. So some sort of blueprint, a quick blueprint, a reference guide, where somebody can quickly check and say, okay, I think if I need this, I could do this ABCD. So I think that is very important for us to live here with, to say the association should come up with a blueprint of some sort that is going to guide. And then finally is on the issue of the partnership with government. Government, doesn't work like you are talking. There must be a formal mechanism, a formality. You don't just talk from the river. You must we must create formal channel with government and say this is how we are going to work with government. Formalize it and say we have an agenda of this nature. We shall be meeting every year 4 times to review the progress. So we must come up with a formal mechanism for engaging government. So those are my parting shots. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. Quite an interesting discussion in the room. I've been informed that our tea is ready. Let's stretch our muscles, and also there's a cup of tea, after which we'll be coming back to conclude. Karibu, please. The tea is served outside. All right. Just to remind you, we'll also be having a Twitter space today in the evening from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. For some of my speakers who haven't been successful on having a Twitter account, we will be having, you speak using my phone. So I'll have you here in a round table and engage with you, then invite others who have Twitter accounts. But thank you very much. Also, I've been informed that checkout times are 1. They have negotiated it to 1 o'clock. So we've negotiated that you can check out at 1 o'clock, after which then you'll have to pay an extra in case you